very good morning to you, and welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato. It is Monday, May 4th. May the 4th be with you, 2026. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. We just called security because there's a strange guy who walked in. We have no idea who the heck he is. Is that meteorologist Mike Favetta, who is back with a forecast near us? Welcome. Good morning, Mike. How are you, sir?
Ken, it's only
Mike
been
and his
5 shows. 5 shows. And what happens? You just forget about me?
fell apart. Fell apart, sir. Fell apart. By the second show, Pam and I were doing tiddlywinks on the air. By the third show, we were playing tic-tac-toe and hangman. That's what we did. You think I'm kidding? So listen, you just had a little baby boy, a second one.
Mm-hmm.
So your
Yep.
wife must be thrilled. And that is Nino
Sure
on the
they
right, and
are.
on the left is Enzo. Hi, Enzo. Welcome
Uh-huh.
to the world. His
So
debut
they're
on New Jersey.
they're doing great. They're doing great. The brotherly love, you can feel it in the air. Especially when he goes over and is like, "Oh, can I hold Enzo? Enzo?" That's how he says it. So it's adorable. It's great. They're both. Mom is doing wonderful as well,
I
which
was
is very
just going
important.
to ask how is Steph
Yes,
feeling?
mom is wonderful, and dad is holding it all together. Actually getting some sleep, which is surprising considering with two boys, well, three if you count the dog, running the household.
Right.
It'll be
Rocco, your
it's
wife is going to go crazy. All that testosterone in the house. She's going to have to escape with her girlfriends on a weekend or something
oh
just to get
just
away.
wait, oh just wait, yeah, yeah, it's been
Well,
fun. Well, the cousins came over
congratulations,
for a visit. Thank you so
and
much.
well, I leave it to you, sir. It's all yours.
Well, we've got some great weather to get outside and get to the park, right? With the weather that is so warm this afternoon, so much sunshine, and a beautiful continuation of the gorgeous weather we had yesterday, minus the wind. That's a big plus. We'll start off nice and clear this morning across not only New Jersey but even the Northeast with that nice dry air in place. We have a little bit of a south breeze, which helps push temperatures into the 80s today. It'll feel lovely throughout the day. And then waiting until tomorrow morning for our next round of light sprinkles that come on in. That's actually kind of a weak front that'll help push temperatures even warmer, possibly into the mid 80s by tomorrow afternoon. You might even feel some humidity around because it is May after all, so it's due. Later on in the week, come Wednesday, that's when the rain begins, and it's going to be a wet finish to the week with rain on the way for Wednesday and Thursday, and potentially even a few showers on Friday, but we'll get to that part of the forecast coming up. So we have a few of these showers lined up off to the west, still waiting about a day or two before they arrive. But until then, enjoying the nice dry skies. You can see the long range futurecast showing most of those showers not shaping up until Wednesday afternoon, coming through again on Thursday night, and then clearing by Friday morning. But we get another round late Friday into Saturday. So keeping an eye on Mother's Day plans because I think there could be some sprinkles in the forecast this weekend, especially if you have plans, maybe outdoors, maybe take mom to the outdoor brunch, outdoor dining could be a thing later on this week. So with the cooler conditions that spread over by the end of this week, we start off nice and warm now, but gradually turn cooler. That's also the case for you if you're watching this morning on the West Coast. Big dip in the jet stream, sending temperatures right back down into cool territory in most of the upper Midwest, rather chilly for early May as well. And like I said before, it turns a little bit wetter later on this week with system after system heading toward the Northeast. So we've got more details on that and what to expect in your corner of the country. That's coming up in just a few minutes, Ken.
And how appropriate that you would come back on National Weather Observers Day, by the way. Thought you'd find
Yes.
that interesting. So it's not for the meteorologists, it's for the laity like myself who look and go, "Oh, there's a cloud. It must mean tornadoes." And you go, just,
Please,
pay
please,
attention
you're
to the
giving me
forecast.
PTSD because that happens with clients. They go to events and they go, "Are those clouds over there?" These are like the pretty serious, like the high, wispy, thin clouds that mean gorgeous sunshine. Are they going to make lightning? No, please stop. Stop scaring. Stop scaring your patrons.
There's a reason why I am the scientist and you are the observer, right? But nonetheless, National Weather Observers Day for those geeks like me to feel important at least one day. Mike, nice to have you back, sir. Good to
Thank
see you.
you.
All right, we'll be checking back all morning. We check our traffic right now as we have 39 degrees in northern New Jersey. It is 40 degrees in Trenton right now, and it is, let's see, where are we not getting 56 degrees in Los Angeles. We check our traffic. We have just some delays. There's thankfully no accidents, but delays to report. Let's go over to the approach to the Holland Tunnel right now, the 139, which comes from the Turnpike to the Holland Tunnel. Look at this mess. It is just so heavy at this early hour. Usually that's not for another hour or so, but nonetheless, you see it with your own eyes. That's what's going on right now. Again, that is from the Turnpike to the Holland Tunnel, and that is going to cost you about 25 minutes in, even though it's only 5 minutes after the hour. We look at other approaches right now and other issues. We have on Route 21 delays southbound at exit 9, Route 3 in Clifton. All lanes open again. It is just a volume issue. And then we have Garden State Parkway delays northbound from south of exit 145, I-280 in East Orange to north of exit 149 in Bloomfield. All lanes open. There is a 4-mile delay, and that is all due to volume. The other issues that we have right now are, let's see, the approach to the Lincoln Tunnel on 495. That's going to cost you about 30 to 35 minutes. Again, that's all volume, easterly facing sun. So you have a lot of people who are looking into the sun as they drive, and that's causing some issues there. And we take a look at the approach to the GWB if we can. This is the upper and lower level, upper on the right, lower on the left. Not so bad, actually. That's moving at about a 25-minute in time into Manhattan. We have a collision on the West Coast right now. This is in Newhall by Route 14 and Escondido Canyon Road. There's also a crash that happened in Altadena on the 5 at Osborne Street on-ramp. And then we have a crash that just happened in front of 1667 Jando Drive in West Valley. 6 minutes past the hour, federal authorities are investigating after a United Airlines jet landing at Newark Liberty yesterday afternoon struck a light pole and a truck. Look at this video from inside the truck's, look at this. Inside the truck's dash cam. That's the dash cam inside. So you see that little notch on the upper left? That is apparently the landing gear. This is 1 second before collision. The guy sees the plane literally coming at him like, what the hell? And that is 1 second before the landing gear hit the top of his truck. The miracle, nobody was killed. Nobody was killed. But check it out again. Watch this. He's like, what the hell is that? Boom. The plane hits the truck. That is a truck, by the way, on the New Jersey Turnpike. It also caused a light pole to hit on a Jeep. This happened at 2 p.m. yesterday. FAA saying the incident involved United Flight 169, 2 p.m., Boeing 767 managing to land safely after flying all the way from Venice, Italy, but not before causing damage to the pole, the truck, the Jeep, and the plane itself. Reports say the jet was so low, so short of the runway that its landing gear smashed that driver's side window of the Schmidt Baking Company truck. Blast from the window injured the truck's driver. He was literally a foot from death. 1 foot lower, there's no way he would have survived that. He better play lotto today. He is expected to be okay. The Jeep may have been damaged again by the falling light pole. The 231 passengers and crew aboard that aircraft not hurt. The FAA and NTSB have launched a full investigation. I think those pilots are in heap big of trouble. They temporarily pulled the flight crew from service. Meanwhile, a Delta passenger is in hot water after she was arrested for not ending a call on her cell phone as her flight was waiting to take off. Last Monday, police say 46-year-old Shannon Marie Harris of Tyrone, Georgia, was on Delta Flight 1323 from Miami to Atlanta. While the aircraft was taxiing to the runway, the crew repeatedly said she had to end her phone call. She refused, according to them, became belligerent, continued talking on her phone. Imagine another 150 passengers waiting for you. The pilot ordered the plane to return to the gate where Harris was asked to leave. Again, she wouldn't get up out of her seat. That prompted Delta to deplane the entire aircraft around her. Then at the gate, she was met by 12 police officers and placed under arrest. She'll likely be given a "you may never fly on our airline again" order. It is 9 minutes past. 3 passengers have died and 3 others are being treated after a suspected breakout of hantavirus on a cruise ship. Of the 3 who died, hantavirus was confirmed in 1 case and is suspected in the other 5. The cruise ship, known as Hondias, remains off of Africa's Cape Verde in the Atlantic Ocean. The vessel had an estimated 150 passengers as it traveled from Ushuaia, Argentina to the Canary Islands. Beautiful place on Earth. Hantavirus is spread by contact with rodents or their urine, droppings, and saliva. Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani has been hospitalized. He's in critical but stable. Giuliani was one of the lawyers involved in President Trump's demand for recounts in the 2020 election. Those efforts resulted in criminal charges against Giuliani in 2 states and a defamation lawsuit from election workers in Georgia. Giuliani denied wrongdoing in the criminal cases and was pardoned for the criminal charges. Before his time with President Trump at the White House, Giuliani was dubbed America's mayor for his amazing response to the September 11th, 2001 attack on New York. The Met Gala is being held tonight in New York City, revolving around the 2026 theme costume art, exploring the intersection of fashion and art by pairing objects with garments. The annual gala is based on the spring exhibition at the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute. The exhibit will be open to the public from May 10th to January 10th. It'll be the first exhibit in the new Condé Nast galleries. Organizers say the exhibit has been organized for people with differing body types, so that highlights different people who have been traditionally overlooked in fashion. The 152nd Kentucky Derby is in the books, and Golden Tempo crossed the finish line first, holding off Renegade and Ocelli, who finished second and third respectively. Golden Tempo, who pulled away at the end and after sitting in last place going into the final turn, had odds of 25-1 at the post. Golden Tempo's odds were longer than last year's winner, Sovereignty, which went off at 7-1. The horse charged down the stretch to make history for DeVoe, the jockey and the owner, and the 1 1/8 mile race, the longest 1 1/8 miles ever for humanity. The Spirit Airlines shutdown will ripple through commercial aviation, likely raising fares. Spirit announced early Saturday that it had started an orderly wind down of operations effective immediately after efforts to get a $500 million federal bailout stalled. All Spirit flights were canceled. Losing the ultra-low carrier will likely mean other airlines will gradually increase prices at a time when ticket prices are already high because jet fuel prices are up due to the Iran conflict. Spirit is processing refunds for any flight that was purchased through the airline with a credit or debit card. And a high school student in Philadelphia posted a series of viral TikTok videos showing how his classmates can't read simple words or understand simple sentences. The videos were recorded at the city's preparatory charter school of mathematics, science, technology, and careers. In one clip, not a single high school student could read the sentence, "She wore a silhouette of clothes that were extraordinary but somewhat gauche." That was the sentence. The student made a follow-up video a day later in which the students were unable to explain the meaning of the sentence. The colonel asked the choir to accommodate the governor's schedule. Check this out.
The choir to accommodate the governor's schedule.
All right, what does that mean?
Right? They asked the people to sing for the governor's schedule. I don't know what this means.
The colonel asked the choir to accommodate the governor's schedule.
What does that mean?
He asked the choir to accommodate. I don't know, bro. It means he asked him to read his schedule. So,
What an absolute shame. A shame. State test scores in Pennsylvania show that just 53% of students at that school could read. This is a prep school. This is one of their elite charter schools. And only 19% were proficient in math. Don't blame the students. You got to blame the teachers and the parents. And get this, a whopping 71% of Philadelphia's fourth graders cannot read at fourth grade level. Yet the amount spent per student is an enormous $33,000 per year. Compare that to New Jersey, where the average amount spent per student statewide is just $26,000. So what did the school do about the videos? Well, rather than work with the struggling students, they threatened to expel the student who exposed them for their clear inability to educate. That's our future right there, folks. That's our future. These kids deserve better than what they're getting. And especially we deserve better for $33,000 a year per student. 13 minutes past the hour. When we come back, the overlap between autism and ADHD. We're going to talk about that. And meteorologist Mike Favetta is back with your local forecast. We're back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato for your Monday live in New Jersey and New York on New Jersey. And now we welcome our friends in Los Angeles and San Diego with On LACA at 15 minutes past the hour. We'll take calls at 888-658-0234. Welcome to you, meteorologist Mike Favetta, back for the forecast near you. Good to have you back, sir.
Good to be here. Thank you, Ken. Ken, we've got some great weather on the way for today. So excited about the sunshine because May is starting off nice and warm. And even though we had some very gusty breezes over the weekend, those winds calmed down into the next few afternoons. So with the wet finish to the week that comes in, especially as we head toward later Wednesday and Thursday, these are the showers that start to move in toward New Jersey once we get toward tomorrow night, and especially for Wednesday morning. So there's this very large system that spreads across the country, delivering much colder than average conditions by the middle of the week, and that starts to slide into the East Coast by the time we get to, say, Wednesday, Thursday timeframe. So the futurecast showing front after front making its way toward the Northeast. That is after a load of sunshine and very warm weather, and with all the clearing that lasts right through the afternoon tomorrow, we have a nice warm finish to the day on your Tuesday. Then the rain settles in later tomorrow, Wednesday into Thursday, and you can see those showers shaping up all across the East Coast and pushing through, but they eventually depart, bringing back lots of clear sky by Thursday afternoon, and I think Friday starts clear before we get clipped with another light shower by Friday afternoon. So again, it's this large system that works its way across the Northeast beginning tomorrow night, taking over throughout the day on Wednesday, with all of that wet weather lasting through the middle of the week. That will help knock pollen levels down because they are sky high, especially for trees. You see the insane amount of pollen accumulating on the car tops, and you hear it in everyone's voices. You can see it with the red, the itchy eyes, with the swollen faces. Even the grass pollens remain rather high, so we like to see a little bit of relief in that department, and I think that'll occur as soon as Wednesday. A little bit of cloud cover and wet weather across the south there in California, Southern California. We've got more details on what's going on the West Coast coming up, Ken, with your next weather update.
All right, sir. Looking forward to that next weather update as much as I did with it. So this is kind of a roller coaster, right? Nice
It
day
is.
today, hot tomorrow or hot tamale, and then on Wednesday it gets back to cool again. So it's like, when
And
is
even
May
into
going
the
to just May?
weekend, it's cooler than average. So you can't quite get that heat that I think everyone's looking for consistently. We had that in April, go figure, earlier
You know
last
what it
month.
is? Our Pam Salve, our director, she's very religious and prays very much. God bless her. Very religious. And I know that she and God are like this. They're
Mm,
like that. So I think Pam and God work this out together. So it's just going to be a little cooler for the entire summer. So we'll have heat finally August 31st, and then it's going to be September.
right. It keeps the energy bills low, right? You got to look at the bright side.
It's the energy bill. Yeah, keep looking at that, Daddy. Now that you got to pay for two kids. All right. Thank you, Mike. We'll check
You
back,
bet.
sir. Appreciate you always. Looking at the temperatures right now, 39 degrees in northern New Jersey. It's 45 in Trenton already. As we get inland, the further inland you go, it's a little warmer. The ocean and river temperatures are cooler. In California, 56 degrees right now. In LA, 57 in San Diego. And the traffic that we have to report is not a lot. Thankfully, it's really not too bad at all. We're looking at traffic on 280 right now, just some delays from east of Stickle Drawbridge in Harrison to 14E King Street in Newark. All lanes are open, but again, it's just really a matter of volume. 1 and 9 has delays northbound, south of Wilson Avenue to south of US 1 and 9 truck route by the Pulaski Skyway in Newark. All lanes open there as well. Your approaches to the Hudson River, that's where you're going to have some issues. Let's look at 139 from the Turnpike to the Holland Tunnel. That's jamming. That's already going to cost you 35 minutes into Manhattan at this early hour, 20 minutes past the hour. Over to Columbia Avenue by 495, going to the Lincoln Tunnel. That is moving a little bit better. It's only about 25 minutes into Manhattan there. And switch to the GWB, please. Upper and lower levels is very heavy, or are very heavy. It's the 8095 approach, upper level on the right. Oh, we have the spiral of death happening. That's just the internet, or the interwebs as they call it. On the right side, you have the upper level, left side, lower level, moving but slow. It's going to cost you about 30 minutes. And to the West Coast, we do have a few collisions at this early hour, only 4:21 in the morning at West Coast time. This is in Newhall. There's a crash at the 14 and Escondido Canyon Road. Also on the 5 at Osborne Street on-ramp, we have a crash in Altadena. And then we have a missing elderly person reported in LA. They don't say if it's a man or a woman, but if you see an elderly person in LA proper, walking the streets, and they look like they don't know where they're going at 4:21 in the morning, please call police. Do not approach them. Call police and let the police deal with it. But definitely missing elderly to deal with, excuse me, to deal with in Los Angeles at this early hour. It is now 21 minutes past, and awareness and understanding around neurodiversity continue to grow, especially as more people learn about the overlap between autism and ADHD. That overlap, often referred to as ADHD or ADHD, if you will. While it's not an official medical diagnosis, the term is helping families and clinicians to better understand how autism and ADHD can actually interact in ways that are often misunderstood or misdiagnosed. Dr. Robert Melillo is a neuroscientist, clinician, and founder of the Melillo Method to explain what ADHD means. Good morning, Dr. Melillo.
Good morning, Ken. Good to speak with you.
Nice to have you on, Doctor. So please tell us about this intersection between the two. What does that mean, ADHD?
Well, the way I look at all of these things is really through the lens of neuroscience. So from a standpoint of research, we've kind of always known that ADHD and autism are on a similar spectrum. We hear about the autism spectrum, and really ADHD is on that spectrum from a neurological perspective in what is actually happening in the brain. What we see is that in both autism and ADHD, there is a delay in development in more of the right hemisphere and some of the right hemisphere networks in people that are actually gifted in their left hemisphere skills. And the combination of that, based on different networks and how they interact with each other, can produce a whole spectrum of different symptoms. But really, neurologically, they're similar. It's really more the degree. And I think that makes it, clearer for people to understand.
And how commonly do autism and ADHD overlap? Do you see that sort of like a continuum and sort of a gray area that many more overlap than we even think?
Yeah, when we look at research and we look at brain imaging research, we see that there are similar networks in the brain that are actually impacted. And basically, almost everybody on the autism spectrum has some kind of ADHD. They have hyperactivity. They may also have an overlap of different tics or what we call stimming. We may see some sort of vocal tics. So in ADHD, we also see that they are usually very gifted in certain areas, especially with things like math and science. It's kind of like an engineering type of brain. But if there's too much of an imbalance between the networks on the left and the right, we see that it will cause a deficit in certain things. And if you look at the article that we're talking about, they list a number of different things like problems with social interaction, hyperactivity, impulsivity. But also, the fact that they may be very creative in certain ways, or they may be very highly intelligent, or even very articulate in different ways.
So when we see the autistic individual who can perform advanced math with no paper to write down or a calculator, and can just calculate numbers instantaneously, and I know one of those people, which just blows my mind every time, but yet that person is very awkward socially and can't look you in the eye. Is it just the brain is so super wired on one side, but just simply not wired the same way on the other?
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good way of putting it. When we talk about from a neuroscience perspective, when someone's talented or gifted or intelligent, what does that mean? It means that certain areas of their brain and certain networks that do certain functions are a little wired differently. They're a little bit more connected. They're a little bit tighter. Some of those networks are a little bit more powerful electrically. And when there is an area of the brain on one side that's really connected very tightly, we see that networks on the other side are not as tight, and they might
Mhm.
be a little bit deficient, and depending on the degree of the imbalance, there can be disabilities that may go along with it. If you get somebody that's a little bit socially awkward, but again, very, very bright, maybe very good in math and science, and able to hyper focus on certain things, but they might struggle a little bit with some of the big picture skills. Like, for instance, they might be very good in word reading and might be an early reader, but they struggle with reading comprehension. It's really these imbalances in these networks. But the good news is we can change that. We can actually change the areas on the other side of the brain that aren't as connected. And by stimulating them, activating, do different types of skills, we can actually enhance those connections and create a balance without taking away their gifts.
That's amazing. And that's why I'm assuming, doctor, that it's so important to diagnose autism as early as possible when you have more neuroplasticity and you can retrain the brain or at least wire it better at that age. Is that correct?
Exactly. And that's why, one of the things, my PhD is in developmental and cognitive neuroscience, and I've really studied human brain development. And a lot of the misconceptions out there is that things like milestones, those early milestones, don't matter. And that's completely untrue from a neuroscience perspective. If a child is delayed, even if they're as early as when they're first born, if they have trouble latching on, or if they're not rolling over when they should be, or they're not crawling in the way that they should be, or if they walk late or talk late or don't point for attention, those are early signs that, this imbalance may be developing. And if we get to that earlier, because there is no damage, there's no injury, there's no pathology in the brain, and typically there's no clear genetic mutation. So there isn't anything that's preventing us from creating more balance in the brain. So that early detection and being aware of that, I think, is really important. We need to get that message out more.
All right. Just a different wiring does not mean it's wrong, bad, or damaged. It's just the way God made that person. If you believe in our God, which I'm sorry, but I have to throw the religion in there. I do. That's just the way the person was made, and there's a reason that person is made that way. So this is doctor. I could talk to you about this for a day. It's just I find it fascinating having encountered people on the spectrum and how amazing they have been. The people I've met. Doctor, what's a website for more information, please?
drrobertmelillo.com. That's Melillo. And I also have one of my best-selling books is called Disconnected Kids. And in that book, we really explain a lot of these things and give parents tools in which to assess their own child's strengths and weaknesses and be able to do things that can help to balance out these networks on their own.
We need to have you back on a regular basis, if you don't mind, doctor, to talk about this
I'd love to.
regularly. So yeah, let's do that, please, so that parents are more aware. We have a lot of young parents with babies, and I think the more awareness they have of what to look for, the better it is in terms of outcome societally for these kids. But just amazing gifts that they are to all of us. Neuroscientist, clinician, founder of the Melillo Method, Dr. Robert Melillo. Thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much, Ken.
You bet, doctor. It is 29 minutes past the hour. When we come back, with the FIFA World Cup coming to New Jersey, security experts are focused on protecting residents and visitors from scams. We're going to talk about it. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. We're back in 2. And welcome back. Excuse me, looking away. Good morning. It is 30 minutes past the hour on Monday, May 4th, 2026. May the 4th be with you. By the way, I find it funny. That was contrived as a joke because it's a play on May the Force be with you from Star Wars, from the original Star Wars. And because of the play on words, I'm noticing younger news anchors on TV stations and TV networks are playing the clip from Star Wars in which was it Han Solo, I guess, says, "May the Force be with you," and they think he's saying, "May the Fourth be with you." He's not. It's a joke. It's a play on the term, "May the Force be with you." But youngins don't get it because they don't. I guess they never saw it and they don't understand that he's saying, "May the Force be with you." I saw that this morning and I shook my head and said, "She did not say that." She's like, "Look, watch here in the movie when he says, 'May the Fourth be with you.'" He doesn't. He says, "May the Force be with you." There, I've gotten it off my chest. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. We're live on the East Coast and the West Coast. Now, meteorologist Mike Favetta is back. He was a birthday boy on Friday. Happy birthday, my
Uh-huh.
fellow Torian.
Well, I mean, I had to come back. Couldn't miss this special day because it's Ken's birthday today. Happy birthday, Ken.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And
Very
but I
excited
just
about
wish
that.
I wish I was closer to your number than my number, but that's okay. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I'm still breathing. This is
Okay.
good. But you got a special birthday gift this year. You now have two little boys that are less than a
Mm-hmm.
year and a half apart. Oh boy,
Yeah.
your wife must be exhausted.
Oh boy. Uh-huh. Yep. Born on Earth Day, so very appropriate for the meteorologist. That was a nice surprise. And chugging through May, just with all the pouches and diapers and everything you could imagine that comes with toddlers and infants. So yeah, it's
So
fun.
cute. So cute. Now, how's he sleeping?
Amazing. And mom and dad are also sleeping really well. That is the infant. The 16-month-old, no, still sleeps like a dumpster fire. So we're working on that. But everybody claims it's normal, and this is just a normal part of behavior. I'm sure Dr. Melillo can attest to that too. It's just nothing you can
Right?
do. Yeah.
How is so just curious, I'm sorry to dwell and dwell. I just find this fascinating. How is Nino taking to having somebody share the attention of mommy and daddy in the house?
Well, whoever is holding the baby immediately, gravitates to them. Like, oh, I want attention too. I need attention too. So that's fun. Having your legs locked together by a toddler's arms while you're holding an infant is always fun. Can't move anywhere. You're just kind of stuck. Like, okay, I'm not going anywhere.
You could write a book when they're all old. You could write a book about
Yeah.
the interactivity between them and
Uh-huh.
stuff. But they're going to be the closest little boys ever, being just 16 months apart. I'm sure they'll be
Yep.
playing sports together and hanging out, and probably have a lot of overlapping friends and girlfriends and everything as they
I'm
grow up. That
sure.
is so awesome.
I'm sure.
That is so
Yep.
awesome. Well, it's so nice to have you back, fellow birthday boy.
Good to
We
be
share
back.
our
Good to
month
be here.
together.
Yes. We had another
Nice.
Taurus join the club last week. So always because always need more of those, right? Like there's not enough
Lots of bull. Lots of bull.
strong-willed, very
Strong like
tested,
bull.
hard-headed people. Yes, yes, all of that, all of that. We've got some great weather for the next few days, though. You need the sunscreen, especially as the sun is at the same intensity as it is in a late August. So, with the clear sky that works its way across the valley there in California as we head into the next few days, there will be some clearing there, even though most of LA is waking up with showers this morning. Lots of sunshine right now across all of the Northeast and even right down toward the Panhandle and the peninsula in Florida. With the clear sky that takes over into the next few days, we're good up until about Wednesday. That's when some rain returns, and you'll see that coming up in the future casts for the East Coast in just a bit. As far as the West Coast is concerned, you have all of these lows, one there, delivering some showers and clouds right through the end of the day tomorrow. Have to really wait until Wednesday afternoon to finally see some clearing, and that marine layer is just offshore. But by Thursday, I think we're back to the dry conditions with clear sky. That'll make for a beautiful start to the weekend with dry weather right down the coast. But as of now, yeah, you see a lot of those clouds working their way through, and it'll be kind of gray over the next few hours into the next few days with some patchy breaks of sun with that cloud cover lasting through the middle of the week. But as far as the rest of the day today is concerned, you have this cool weather here across most of the upper Midwest and even along the East Coast. really warm. We should be in the mid 70s, and I think we may get there across most of the coast in the afternoon. But it still takes its time to warm up, especially with the cooler weather on the way over the next 10 days, beginning on Wednesday. We'll time that out for you and give you the long range trend of what to expect temperature wise. That's coming up, Ken, in just a few minutes.
Very good, Mike. Appreciate that very, very much. Just that up and down, up and down, up and down. Hopefully, it'll
Yeah.
be, we'll have a steady week in the 70s, not in February, but in May. It would be nice to actually have a steady week of 70s in May. Let's see if we can
Would be
pull that
nice.
out in the next couple of months. Maybe by August, we'll have a steady week of May 70s. Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't. All right, Mike. Thank you. Oh, by the way, who's taking care of both babies right now? Is Steph taking care of
They're
double
both
duties?
sleeping right now, so fingers crossed. I haven't heard anything. Dog hasn't, stirred yet, so I think they're both sleeping. But come the 8 o'clock hour, I'm sure you'll hear the banging upstairs.
We got to talk about how Rocco's dealing with this now too. That's a whole other issue. That's like a whole
Yeah.
show unto itself.
Oh yeah.
Oh my. All right. Thank you very much, Mike. Very, very much appreciated. Just a quick check of traffic. And yes, we'll do the promotional thing, Pam, right after the traffic. I'm sorry to reverse it on you. What we have right now, let's do East Coast, then West Coast. On the East Coast right now, Garden State Parkway, we have an issue. This is a disabled vehicle. Pam found this among the 200 cameras we have. Pam found this individual. So it's not causing really any delays, but just remember New Jersey law and law in like 40 states. When somebody's broken down in a shoulder, just like a police officer, you're supposed to get over a lane. And if you can't because of traffic, you're supposed to slow down 20 to 30 miles an hour because what happens is when you see somebody in a shoulder, you look at them, you don't realize you tend to pull your car toward them. And that's when people can get in bad trouble. So that person should be staying in the driver's seat of their car. They should not be in the back because if a car hits them, they're done. You should never get out of your vehicle if you are broken down. Get back in the car. And everybody driving by, you should stay an extra lane away, please. We want people to stay safe. All right, so that's on the Garden State Parkway. Right now, the approach to the Holland Tunnel, very heavy. Look at the 139 making your way to the Holland. It is bumper to bumper right now. I don't know what's causing this enormous delay because it's not as bad at the Lincoln, but this is 139 from the Turnpike to the Holland. Going to cost you 35 to 40 in Lincoln Tunnel to the 495 Helix. That's only about 25 minutes. That's actually much better right now. GWB upper and lower level, heavy but moving. 8095 approach. You can see the moving on the upper level there on the right. Lower level on the left is just temporarily jammed. A minute ago it was moving, but we're told it's about a 30-minute ride in. That's not awful. And the West Coast now, what we have is a traffic collision reported in West Valley. That's at the State Route 1 and Leo Carrillo Entrance Road. There is a hit and run reported in West LA at South Building Avenue and West 101st Street. And then we have a crash that happened in East LA on the 710 at Florence Avenue off-ramp. I'm amazed that at this early hour, 4:40 in the morning West Coast time, 7:40 East Coast, how many accidents have been happening in LA. And I noticed that in the winter weather, I think that they don't have a lot of the early crews. I have a friend who lives in LA who said that all the people who work for New York Wall Street firms in California, who are normally up in the summertime right now, a lot of times in the wintertime, because of the seasonal depression, they are not working. So I'm noticing this time of year, you have all these accidents happening at 7:40 Eastern in California. But in the winter, you have nothing. So I'm assuming they change business hours. Tell me if you live in LA. Let me know if that's the case. Just a quick mention to let you know, I have the privilege tonight of emceeing a fundraising gala for the Jericho Project at the Tribeca rooftop from 6 to 9 in Manhattan. The group has spent decades helping homeless people not just find a place to live, but transform their lives. The gala is called Celebrate 2026, Bridges to Independence. You could still buy tickets at the website, jerichoproject.org. And with the 2026 FIFA World Cup set to bring massive crowds and global attention to the stadium, we have all sorts of stuff happening in our area. In terms of activities and whatnot, you should know about that. And you know that Mother's Day is coming up this coming weekend. Did you realize Mother's Day is Sunday? It's this coming Sunday. If you are still searching for that perfect gift, we've got you covered this morning, from timeless diamond studs to statement necklaces and everyday pieces that she will never want to take off. London Jewelers Short Hills is sharing a Mother's Day gift guide filled with options that are as meaningful as they are beautiful. On New Jersey's Dina Delisa Gonzar takes us inside the collection.
This Mother's Day, it's about more than just giving a gift. It's about giving back. Let's Talk Women's Health and Wellness has partnered with London Jewelers on a special bracelet that supports their mission while honoring the women who mean the most to us. Joining me now is John Rudinsky, Sales Associate at London Jewelers Short Hills. Hello, John.
Hello, Lisa. How are you?
John, let's start with the partnership. How did the collaboration between Let's Talk and London Jewelers come to be?
Well, Deb Favetta, who's the organization lead, and I have been working with each other for almost 40 years. And throughout my time here at the Short Hills area, we've grown together collectively. And I'm well aware of her past tributes and what she's done with various charities, and now what she's doing with Let's Talk. It was a great opportunity for both of us to collaborate and get both our names out there. Having said that, the London Jewelers family has been in existence for the last 100 years, and they do a lot of charitable events at all of our stores.
All right, so that is London Jewelers, but it is not the piece we wanted to show you. We're going to have a whole different piece coming up in just a little bit, so do not hesitate. That was not Dina Delisa Gonzar. That was, of course, our Lisa Marie Falbo from New Jersey. So, all right, we will get that straightened out. They call that a faux pas, and we'll be back with a correction for that. It is 43 minutes past the hour. When we come back, the company that may have built your home's electric and water smart meters was hacked. Brand and digital strategist Fisher will be here with the details. And meteorologist Mike Favetta has your forecast when On New Jersey Mornings. And Mornings with Ken Rosato returns in 2 minutes. Don't go away. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. 45 minutes past the hour, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Welcome back, meteorologist Mike Favetta with the forecast near you. Hello, sir.
Thank you, Ken. Good morning to you. Got sunshine for you on your birthday. A beautiful day ahead. Not too windy either, because yesterday those winds were howling out of the north and west, allowing for some pretty gusty breezes right down toward the coast. But it's providing a drier feel today, as we'll enjoy the clear sky. Not so much out in Southern California. Some clouds approaching there as that wet weather gets going, and provides some wet weather even across most of the Midwest. Well, the long-range futurecast showing that rain working toward the East Coast later on this week, specifically by Wednesday into Thursday. We get a break by Friday morning, and then another round comes through for Saturday afternoon. But I think it clears out nicely with just some clouds lingering by Sunday. Some Mother's Day brunch plans, especially if they're outdoors, should be okay. The Futurecast again showing some sprinkles later on overnight, but again, we dry things out for a warm day tomorrow across New Jersey. Then the front pushes through for Wednesday. It gives us quite a bit of rain. Wednesday looks to be a washout, especially with that wet weather lasting throughout the afternoon. Friday is a little drier, and then Saturday turns wet once more. Looking through the middle of May, cooler than average temperatures through all of the East Coast. Really have to head out west to endure the warmth that'll kind of be a bullseye over Vegas and Southern California over the next 2 weeks. And it's also wetter than average conditions, but it's rain we could use considering how dry it's been, with that drought continuing, at least for most of the East Coast. New Jersey, not terribly dry, but down in the deep south, an extreme and exceptional drought continues, with very dry conditions persisting, Ken, for at least the last 6 to 12 months.
All right, sir. I just said yuck because I'm looking at an ugly, not moving traffic image right
Oh
there that
boy.
we will show. Yeah, all right.
It's soul
Thank you very
crushing,
much.
right? That traffic is just soul crushing.
Thank you. I'm going to borrow that. Soul crushing.
Please
Thank you,
do.
Mike.
Please do. It's just makes you feel like, why? Why? You know? Yeah.
It's like these poor people are stuck in that, and I'm laughing. All right, Mike. Thank you, sir. It is 45 degrees in Trenton right now, 45 also in northern New Jersey, on the West Coast, California, 57 in LA, and 56 in San Diego right now. Let's take a look at what we got. So this is the Route 4 cam. This is Route 4 at Route 17. Look at that. Actually, a second ago, that wasn't even moving that much. So maybe by laughing at it, God got his back. He says, okay, I'll make it move then, Ken, because that was absolutely at a standstill. Now at least it's moving just a little bit. So that was east of Route 93, Grand Avenue in Englewood to the Turnpike by the GWB, Fort Lee. All lanes open, just a volume issue right now. Hopefully for all those folks, it'll keep moving. We have issues, just slight issues at the Lincoln Tunnel right now. It's starting to creep up about a 35-minute in time, and we can go to 139, which is from on the Holland Tunnel approach. From the Turnpike to the Holland Tunnel, you can see that's still a mess. That's just volume right now, making your way into lower Manhattan. Over to the GWB, upper and lower levels moving, and not really that badly either. It's about 30 minutes in. You'll see the upper level on the right, slightly better than the lower level on the left. That's what they're telling us, by about 2 or 3 minutes. Not a big deal. So volume there, but it is moving. It's going to cost you 30 to 35 minutes into Manhattan. It is 49 minutes past the hour, and we check LA just briefly. One traffic collision to tell you about, and that's in West Valley on Route 1 at Leo Carrillo Entrance Road. 49 minutes past. If you look at the outside of your house, there's a good chance that your electric and water meters are smart meters. That means they're electronically connected to the office of whatever facility is controlling them. They may have been built by energy technology giant Itron. Well, Itron now says hackers broke into its systems on April 13th. New Jersey's brand and digital strategist Fisher, who can be found on Twitter and Threads with username @Fisher and through his website, fisher.media, here to explain. Good morning, Fisher. This is a potential
Good morning.
massive, isn't it?
It is. Before we continue, though, in celebration of Mike's baby, him being back, and your birthday, I bought you guys muffins. I did have one. So sorry. But welcome back, Mike. Congratulations and happy birthday, Ken.
Thank you. You're saving me at least a corner of a muffin.
Those will be gone before the end of this report. All right. Yes, as you mentioned, Itron, the energy technology company providing smart utility meters and technology for electricity, gas, and water management to over 110 million homes and businesses worldwide. They say they were notified, as you mentioned, on April 13th. They said they quickly expelled the intruders and have seen no signs of further activity. To the answer to your question, The breach appears limited to Itron's internal IT network. The company reported no unauthorized activity in the customer-hosted portion of its system. Still, it's a little jarring, right? Itron activated its contingency plans and data backups. It says operations have continued with no major disruptions reported. Thankfully, the company has notified law enforcement and is working with external cybersecurity advisors. It remains unclear what type of attack occurred, though, whether it was ransomware or something else, or whether any data was stolen or decrypted. And again, like we've talked about this many times, and the more that we are connected and the more that things are on the internet, there is a risk of these breaches going on. And so we've talked about smart home and your lights and your blinds and things that are connected to the internet, and making sure that those passwords are secure. And that's what you could do internally. Unfortunately, externally, and what the power company could deal with is something entirely different. And we also have talked about, how China has provided transformers and the hardware and the software for these devices. So does that give them a backdoor into this system as well? I know the Trump administration is trying to put some stopgaps in place, but that train has definitely left the tracks by now.
Yeah, that's terrifying because, and again, as you mentioned, we don't know what was accessed, if anything. They may not have accessed anything. It may have just been a little test to see if they could get through, but we don't know. It could have been more than that.
Exactly.
But you're talking about potentially shutting off an entire power grid. I mean, if they control 2/3 of the houses in a city, they could, if that's the case, they could shut everything down if they wanted to remotely, if they hacked it. And there's nothing the power company could do because they could lock them out. That's really terrifying. So there's wonders to having this electronic access, but not so much sometimes, not so much.
Correct.
And then you have another issue. I'm looking over here. I couldn't believe this. So now, Colorado drivers, they're very, let's just say a little left of center, very progressive, and think it's just wonderful to have all these cameras just checking us out everywhere we go, not caring about the fact that you're giving Big Brother total control over every aspect of your life. Now, it may have been a good idea, and I think it might have been, yes, that we had school cams, making sure people weren't going, blowing through school zones. I get it. But now, see, you give an inch, they take a yard. Colorado drivers have to rethink automated traffic cameras. So now they're putting cameras up on highways. So if you're like, 7 miles over the limit, you'll get an automated ticket in the mail?
It's 10 miles over the speed limit, yes, and it's different. So a normal speed camera, as you mentioned in school zones, as you approach the speed camera or get in range of it, it'll take a picture, it'll clock you, right? And then you get a ticket based on that. So they've had those on the highways in Colorado as of now. Now what they're introducing is the automated vehicle identification system, which is a network of speed cameras designed to eliminate the break and zoom tactic. So again, as you're coming to the camera or your Waze has told you that a speed camera is ahead or it, you can do 90 and then drop down to 45 and only get clocked when you get to the camera and you're at 45. Well, this has instead of the single snap moment, if you will, it has an average speed over a stretch of road using multiple cameras. Imagine being on an HOV lane, and you usually get, your Easy Pass registers when you enter and the Easy Pass registers when you exit. Imagine you get on the HOV lane, as soon as you enter, you hit 90, and then to slow down before. Well, if the system is using both the entry and the exit, and it knows how long, based on simple math, how long it takes to get from point A to point B, that's how they're calculating your speed at that point. It's kind of a NASCAR, if you're familiar with NASCAR. NASCAR pit road does the same thing. So the citation automatically is issued if the average speed exceeds the posted speed limit by 10 miles an hour, regardless of slowing down or any other, kind of way to avoid it. Each violation carries a flat $75 fine. It's sent directly to the registered driver, registered owner, even if somebody else was driving at the time. And the tickets don't add points at this point to the driver's license, make them more of a financial penalty rather than one that affects driving privileges. It was enabled, the program was actually approved in 2023 Colorado law that expanded the use of automated enforcement. After initial warning period, actual fines begin rolling out in early of this year. So they are beginning at this point. And again, the cameras, and this actually wasn't mentioned, the Avis cameras, as they're called, are primarily focused on construction zones and high-risk highway stretches to improve safety for road workers and reduce erratic driving. But of course, as you said, give them an inch, literally they'll take a mile. And this will probably be enacted in other places as well.
So here's the thing. I know this has been challenged in a number of municipalities based on federal constitutional law, because you have the constitutional right to challenge an accuser in court, and you cannot challenge an electronic camera. You can't cross-examine, etc. So the settlement was, as long as there's no points and it's a flat rate fine for everybody, and it's affordable, $75 to $100, which they have in New York City, etc. It would cost more to take them to federal court than to fight it, or than to just let it go. So I think that's the compromise. Just leave it alone. Don't escalate it to points or anything. But they're going to try, and when they do, it's just going to be a matter of time before somebody takes them to federal court. The whole thing could be thrown out. But because there is, people the liberals apparently in Colorado, the good progressives there, they never read that little document called the Constitution, which says can't do that.
Well, I think eventually cameras will also become better, and you'll get facial recognition. So there possibly could be a way that they can actually identify the driver rather than just sending it to the registered cars and finding them.
Still can't. The Constitution doesn't afford that. Sorry, I'll bring on 100 constitutional lawyers who'll tell you need a person, because with AI you could fake a person's face. Anyone can make that argument. How do I know that you didn't put that through AI and fake my face in that? That wasn't me.
Well, as we know, depending on who is in charge, maybe they'll pass an amendment down the line. So
let's hope. All right, Brandon, digital strategist Fisher. Brandon, digital strategist Fisher, can be found on Twitter and Threads with username @Fisher and through website Fisher.
I'm going to go enjoy these now.
Go and enjoy. Thank you. Happy birthday.
See ya. Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. 58 minutes past the hour. For those of you watching on LACA on the West Coast, stay tuned for your local news. If you're watching on New Jersey, we'll be right back with New Jersey news, opinion, weather, and traffic. Thanks for watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. Very good morning. It's 8 a.m. Monday, May 4th, 2026. May the 4th be with you. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Lots of sunshine today. Highs in the low to mid 70s. Then even warmer tomorrow. Here's meteorologist Mike Favetta back from baby leave with a full Garden State forecast. Good morning, Daddy.
Good morning, Ken. Good morning, birthday boy. Got some great weather ahead today for your birthday. Clear sky, a lot of pollen because those winds will be whipping through this afternoon. So that fine mist of pollen, the little dusty green that you see on the car, continues today, especially with those winds possibly reaching 30 miles per hour, even toward the coast. We start off in the 50s, so we're doing okay temperature-wise, seeing a warming trend that will take our highs back into the 70s by this afternoon, and we're already running about 5 to 9 degrees warmer than yesterday. A lovely southwesterly breeze pushing in that milder air. It's a beautiful start to the day. We stay sunny all afternoon. You can even see some of those high thin clouds down across southern New Jersey. Not a bother today. Well, through this afternoon, as we climb into the mid 70s, it'll feel nice and warm, but again, those winds really whipping, especially at the coast, making it feel quite chilly. We get a weak front that passes through tonight, maybe a little sprinkle overnight while you're sleeping, and then tomorrow get into the 80s away from the coast. 85 in Newark, 86 in Hackensack, but 50s down at the beach. Remember, the water temperature is still 48 degrees, very chilly even for this time of year. That's as a result of our harsh winter, the delayed warming effect of the ocean. So we get some rain that comes in by Wednesday morning, lasts into Wednesday afternoon, even some storms appearing by Wednesday night, and then all of this pretty much clears out with some cooler than average conditions and drier weather that takes over for Thursday afternoon and Friday. So with the warm day tomorrow, it's back to some showers, especially on Wednesday and Thursday. Get ready for a wetter, cooler period in the days ahead. We'll tell you more about that coming up with a full check of your forecast, Ken, in a few minutes.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. 45 degrees now, northern New Jersey, 53 in Trenton. It's coming up fast with the sunshine. It's amazing how in literally a matter of half an hour, 45 minutes, the bright sun is bringing up that temperature so much. We have a few things to tell you about. Pam, Pam, you could bring up this first one, the Route 22. We have this crash. Route 22 eastbound west of Waquayak Park in Newark, left lane of 2 lanes closed. That's causing the delays you see on your screen right now. And literally as we were starting to talk about this, we have a new crash. It just popped up. Pam might be able to find it, if not now for the next report. A crash on 295 northbound, north of exit 64. In fact, I'll look for it while I'm talking to you. So this 295, which goes toward Philadelphia in that area, more towards central. And see if I can bring it up. It's hard to bring it up live because there are like 50 cameras in 295. But do you have it? Oh, she's saying not yet. We're looking for it. But this is 295, right? Oh, I do have it, Pam. And let me see if I can bring this up. I'll do it old school. So that's what it looks like. It's not too bad right now. So that's I can't see Pam because I have it in the camera, but there's a crash 295 northbound. Pam's like, what number camera is that? I can't really tell you. This is northbound, north of exit 64, which is East State Street Extension, Hamilton Township, with the left shoulder closed, just causing a little bit of a slowdown. Fortunately, not too bad. Your approaches to the Hudson River right now, the approach to the Holland Tunnel has been awful all morning long. It's 35 to 40 minutes in, and there you have it. This is 139 from the Turnpike to the Holland Tunnel, and that's going to cost you, like I said, 40 minutes. That's really bad. Lincoln Tunnel approach 495, not so bad. It's about 25 minutes in, and the GWB upper and lower levels starting to build a lot now. Before it was moving slowly. Now it's really starting to cramp up, and that is going to cost you a solid 45 minutes into Manhattan. 4 minutes past the hour, President Trump is skeptical of a 14-point peace proposal put forward by Iran this weekend as Pakistan continues to assist in talks between Tehran and Washington. President Trump says Iran has not yet paid a big enough price. When asked by reporters if he's considering resuming military strikes, Trump said there's a possibility that could happen if Iranian leaders misbehave. Meanwhile, Trump said yesterday the U.S. would guide ships out of the Strait of Hormuz amid the maritime standoff between the two countries that has choked off commercial traffic along the critical trade route. The announcement comes after a merchant ship yesterday reported being attacked by several small boats off the coast of Iran. 9 people were arrested as a mob of anti-ICE protesters descended on a Brooklyn hospital and fought with law enforcement in a clash that was caught on video Saturday night. The organized rowdy group of about 100 paid thug activists, as they've been described, descended on Wyckoff Heights Hospital in Bushwick. Someone tipped them off that immigration agents were in the neighborhood and had taken a man in their custody to the hospital. Authorities say Chidozie Wilson Okeke of Nigeria illegally overstayed his tourist visa, but is also wanted for assault and criminal drug possession. The mob quickly flooded the streets around the hospital to illegally block the ICE agents from leaving with the man. So it doesn't matter if you've beaten, raped somebody, shot somebody. If ICE is coming after you, everybody will run to the person's defense, which is beyond me. I get it. I get it if it's like a little old lady who overstayed her welcome for a day. I understand you're upset. But when you have a guy who's wanted for drug sales and assault, vicious assault, and overstayed their welcome by several years, why are you defending ICE in this case? This is what their constitutional charter is to do, to get these people out who are criminals. I don't get it. You tell me. Maybe I'm wrong. Agents use pepper spray to clear a path in order to get out safely. Police can only do so much, though, because Mamdani is saying that you can't cooperate with ICE. And so police are always in a gray area. Can we help them? Can we not help them? In this case, yeah, you're supposed to help them because they're being assaulted. And any other human being assaulted, whether they're ICE or not, you're supposed to protect them as police officers. And but this is the gray area that comes in because of the Mamdani administration. Meanwhile, police on Long Island announced the arrest Friday of 22-year-old El Salvador citizen Ronnie Yahir Alvarenga Rivera. Rivera was allowed to enter and remain in the country as an unaccompanied minor under the Obama administration. This was in 2015. Investigators say Rivera is here illegally and that he admitted to fatally stabbing not one, but two women in separate incidents in Island Park and Valley Stream, Nassau County on Long Island. No word on a motive for the attacks. Rivera is charged with first and second degree murder and could face deportation after a conviction and completion of sentence. Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson, a self-described Democratic socialist, laughed and seemed to encourage millionaires to just leave the state of Washington while discussing her support for a progressive tax during an interview earlier this month.
I think the claims that millionaires are going to leave our state are like super overblown, and if the ones that leave, like bye.
Wilson was asked if she believed that progressive taxes were an easy solution to the tax climate in the area. She said that she was excited about the millionaire tax that passed in the state. The Seattle mayor was elected November of 2025 and has been compared to fellow Democratic Socialist New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Well, Mother's Day is this coming Sunday. If you are still searching for that perfect gift, we've got you covered this morning, from timeless diamond studs to statement necklaces and everyday pieces she'll never want to take off. London Jewelers Short Hills is sharing a Mother's Day gift guide filled with options that are as meaningful as they are beautiful. On New Jersey's Dina Delisa Gonsar takes us inside the collection.
Hi, my name is Dina Delisa Gonsar, and today we are celebrating 100 years with London Jewelers, a fourth-generation family-run jewelry company. And today, to help me go through Mother's Day gifting ideas, is Laura Landau, General Manager here at Short Hills. Laura, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to go over the Mother's Day gifting options.
I know. I mean, mothers and caretakers in our lives, they deserve timeless and classic pieces for all the hard work they put in, correct?
Certainly do.
And we're going to go through some beautiful pieces, like we have tennis bracelets, diamond studs, oh my.
Yes, we do. We can start with the diamond studs. So these diamond studs are a carat total weight. They're a 3-prong setting. They're set in 14 karat white gold. Of course, we have many different sizes that they're available in, from baby size to endless. So there's a lot of different opportunities for that. They're timeless, they're elegant. Every woman needs a diamond stud in their jewelry wardrobe, for sure.
And then we also have tennis bracelets.
We do. We have 2 different styles. We have this one, which is a 4-prong set diamond tennis bracelet in 14 karat natural diamonds. And we also have a bangle style. This one is actually graduated diamonds, so they're larger in the middle and then they get narrower down the sides. So that's another option. A lot of people like to stack them with other things, so they're very wearable. You can wear them every day. That's also a nice staple to have.
And we also have some beautiful necklaces here.
Yes. So the new trend is yellow gold tennis necklaces.
I was just going to ask you about that. I see we have some white gold, some yellow gold. That's coming back into style.
Yes, the yellow gold's coming back into style. So we have two different ones here. We have a thinner one and then also a graduating one. And which is nice is they're adjustable, so you could wear them at 14 inches or 16 inches in length.
You know what I also love about these pieces, Laura, is they can become heirloom pieces. There's something that can be passed down.
Yes.
So especially when you're gifting moms in your life, it's got that family element to it. So I think that's extra special.
It does, and people really do pass their jewelry down from generation to generation.
I'm hoping my mom passed down some of her jewelry for sure. Well, thank you so much, Laura, for walking us through all of these beautiful pieces, all great ideas for the moms in our lives.
Thank you for having us.
Good old London Jewelers. They've been there for a long time. I love that tennis. The thin tennis bracelet is really nice. I mean, I've seen the really thick ones, but the fact that that has the thin and then they have the one with the graduated diamonds, very cool. Mother's Day coming up Sunday, don't forget. All right, people in Ohio battening down the hatches as locals fear a not-so-friendly neighborhood version of Bigfoot, often referred to as the Ohio Grassman, making a comeback after half a century of silence. They must have, I guess Bigfoot was watching TV and said, we got to lay low. Only this time, there's a new brood in tow. Residents of northeastern Ohio have been reporting the sighting since March, possibly moving throughout the region after a brutal winter. Anonymous witnesses shared pictures of enormous footprints about 1.5 feet in length, which would likely match a creature 7 feet tall. Believers who took their findings to the media described a creature between 6 and 10 feet tall. It was completely covered in dark fur, kind of like me. Ohio ranks 4th in the nation for Bigfoot sightings. That last report, though, was way back in 1978. And New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani is apparently upset that only 400 people showed up to last year's Rent Guidelines Board hearing, so he launched Organize NYC, which he's calling a volunteer effort to have New Yorkers participate in local government. Reality? He started something called the Office of Mass Engagement. They are paid and they are recruiting so-called volunteers to fan out across select neighborhoods to encourage rent-stabilized tenants to attend the hearings. That's like my mafia friends saying, yeah, we encourage you to make those payments. Note that members of the Office of Mass Engagement are paid. The translation, he's using taxpayer money to coerce residents to show up at Rent Guideline Board meetings to intimidate board members to vote against the city's landlords. Why? Because he can't produce on his promises as predicted, so he's trying it in a little bit of a different way. It raises some serious policy, legal, and ethical questions, though, and it's up to the city council to look into it, but many on the council are considered more progressive than the mayor. So, see what happens. 8:13 right now. We have a temperature of 50 degrees. When we come back, this year marks a major milestone for one New Jersey nonprofit that spent the past decade investing in education across the state. Doing a good job, too. We're going to explain. Mostly sunny today, highs in the mid-70s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will be back with a full Garden State forecast. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We're back in 2. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Ken Rosato at 8:15, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the full Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. It's a beautiful day today. Lots of clear sky, lots of sunshine with the air nice and mild comparatively compared to yesterday. We are actually starting off about 5 or 9 degrees warmer than this time yesterday, warming to a high in the mid 70s there from Long Branch through New Brunswick, even back through Freehold. It'll look nice and dry through the afternoon, stays clear, and that'll be the case even for tomorrow, with all of these showers not expected to arrive until Wednesday. So we get 2 days, beautiful weather. It'll feel like May, and then it's downhill with the showers and clouds and cooler weather. Even tomorrow with highs climbing back into the mid 80s, looking beautiful. And then by Wednesday morning, rain takes over. Temperatures hold in the 60s only, even chillier at the coast. And with that wet weather lingering throughout the day on Thursday, maybe we get a break in the clear sky, but beyond that, the cloud cover hangs pretty low, even through most of the day on Friday. So a little bit of a cooler and cloudier trend taking us into the weekend. Look what happens by Saturday. Another round of wet weather comes through during the morning. Sunday starts sunny, gradually turns cloudy, and then we get another round of rain into Monday, with kind of system after system heading toward us throughout the next 10 days, with some opportunities for some clear sky, but overall it's a wetter trend going into especially this weekend. Saturday starts off a little wet, but I think gradually finishes dry, and then Sunday starts dry but turns cloudy by the afternoon. So even though it's a little bit milder for Mother's Day, could see some cloudy conditions take over by the end of the weekend, Ken.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Beautiful, beautiful outside right now. 53
Yeah.
Trenton. It's 49 northern New Jersey right now, and just coming up in those temps to the mid 70s. Can't wait. And then tomorrow, the mid 80s, even better. Pam, our director, is freaking out. She doesn't like it when it gets above 50. It's like she's a snowman and she melts. Hey, Pam, do you want to build a snowman? All right, it is 8:18 right now. We check traffic. We have a mess. 295. Let's take a look at this in Hamilton Township. There's a crash 295 northbound, north of exit 64, which is East State Street Extension in Hamilton. You can see what it's causing there for about 2 miles. You got that massive backup. So just beware of that on 295. We have problems right now on the Goethals Bridge, a disabled vehicle eastbound midspan in Elizabeth with the right lane blocked. And then we go over to Route 22. There's a crash 22 eastbound west of Aquaic Park in Newark. The left lane of the 2 lanes closed, and that is causing the delay you see on your screen right now. Approaching the Hudson River crossings, the 139 coming from the Turnpike to the Holland Tunnel is a bumper-to-bumper absolute mess as we take a look at this. This has been going on for over an hour. Look at that traffic. Unreal. A little bit better if you go to the Lincoln. You could get to the 495 Helix approach, and that's only going to cost you about 25 minutes in, whereas that 139 approach is going to cost you 35 to 40. GWB upper and lower levels, upper on the right, lower on the left. That is a 35 to 40 minute solid ride, but at least it is moving, albeit slowly. 8:19 is our time, and this year marks a major milestone for one nonprofit that has spent the past decade investing in education across the state of New Jersey. The Smith Family Foundation of New Jersey is celebrating its 10th anniversary, supporting grassroots nonprofits, awarding scholarships to students, helping families facing real economic challenges. Catherine N. Nunnally is a Master of Public Administration and the founding executive director and CEO of the foundation, a very hardworking woman. We say good morning to you, Catherine.
Good morning.
Well, your foundation, your organization is amazing. I did a lot of research, looked up at all the work you do, and 10th anniversary, congratulations on that. And one of your organization's major focuses is helping nonprofits grow. So what would you tell some of the newer nonprofits today in this environment where it's so hard to try to get in and help out and raise money?
The number one thing I would tell nonprofits is to make sure you actually need to open a nonprofit. Do your homework, find out what's already there in your community, and connect with people who are doing the work that you're doing so that the impact is greater. Resources can be shared.
What a practical, honest, and real answer. That's a great. You're right. Do we need 700 different organizations to do the same thing? No, you're kind of fighting for the same crumbs. So talk about what you've learned about your nonprofit leadership. And you've done this for 10 years. So and you've done it in one of the most challenging areas in the whole country. Talk about that, please.
So we love the work that we do as philanthropists in Trenton. The biggest thing that we learned, the biggest takeaway is that we have to learn how to tell our own story. We have to help nonprofits learn to tell their own story. The story about Trenton is not always that great, but that's an outside story. That's some people who don't know about Trenton, how it is in the inside, how hard the people work. So one of the major challenges that the Smith Family Foundation focuses on is the true story of Trenton and helping nonprofits show how resilient Trentonians are and how much we love to do the work of community and how we want to build our city up and how we want everything that everybody else wants. We want a safe, happy, loving community. The city is filled with hardworking people, and we want everybody to know that. And that's one of the hardest challenges because people have something in their mind that they believe about a place, but that's not really the story of the place.
Yeah. When my grandparents first migrated to the U.S. Almost 100 years ago from overseas, that's where they settled, Trenton. And Trenton welcomed them, rolled out the red carpet for them, and gave them a life. They had, I think, $36 to their name. And they came here and they worked their butts off and raised their kids, and Trenton was their home. And Trenton, they've always had a love for Trenton as a result. So when I hear the name Trenton, I always think about that if not for the way that wonderful city treated my family, I wouldn't be in the circumstance that I am today. So I love you, Trenton, and good people. Yes, good people in Trenton, good hardworking people. So you have a message of higher education as the normal next step. What does that mean?
So higher education as a normal next step, we look at it in 5 different ways, but what we really want to highlight is that some folks say college is not for everybody, but higher education is for everybody. We look at it not just in 4-year institution. We look at it as vocational school. We're looking at it as learning those soft skills that you need to go directly into the workforce. We always say we need electricians and we need architects. We need both. They both take different pathways. The education is still still the same. In order to have a strong community, we need to empower all of these people to do what has to happen. And so the Smith Family Foundation, when we fund our organizations, we make sure that they are talking to students from kindergarten to 12th grade about higher education. That is the next thing that has to happen. When we're talking about reentry programs and we're talking about adult education, that's the normal next step. That's what has to happen in order for the society to, kind of come in and build the way it needs to happen. Education is the key.
Well, I am so glad you said that, Catherine, because all the studies that show that for 20, 30, 40 years, all we talked about was got to go to college, got to go to college, got to go to college, to the point that college in some cases has become an extension of high school where you have kids coming in, they don't know what they want to do, but yet they're incurring $200,000 in debt. And they come out and they're lucky if they get a $50,000 job after searching for a year. Meanwhile, vocational schools don't cost anything like that. And you could come out of a vocational school ahead of your friends who went to college with no debt racked up and start with $100,000 a year job. I'm so glad you're addressing higher education in that broader umbrella as opposed to just college. I say just college. College is great for some, but it's not great for everybody. I know some people who would never set foot in college. A friend of mine who does own his own electrical contracting company, he came out of vocational school. Newark, by the way, has a great vocational high school. Amazing. You can literally build houses in their building. They teach you to build houses. These kids come out, they get hired first day after they graduate, making like $80,000 a year with no debts incurred. Hello. So thank you for embracing that and teaching this. But now the good news is you got scholarships offering educational support, creating the broader impact, not just for individual students, but also for New Jersey communities as a whole. Please talk about that.
Absolutely. So these scholarships that we have, they're So the beauty of the scholarships is they're not just scholarships. With all the funding that we give, it's not just about the funding. So we give these scholarships, but we also walk through 4 years of education with these students, right? We give them leadership development. We give them support for their academics. We give them support for their social life. We make sure that their scholarships are repeated every year. We help them with internships during the summertime. So it's really important to us that we're building these leaderships. We're providing the scholarships that they need in order to make it through. Because sometimes students, first generation low income students, they don't make it through. And we want to make sure that these students make it through. And that's all, we undergird them with this support that we call Pathways to Student Success.
You are literally restructuring the future, doing what you're doing and changing people's lives just in an amazing way. Did you encounter any special obstacles with the Smith Family Foundation overcoming the 10-year milestone? Was there anything different today, say, versus 10 years ago?
There is so much different today, based from the first 10 years, so much different. So we're a family foundation. So family was working together, and sometimes family is like, no. But but we really kind of pulled things together, and we're working much better as a team. Our teams kind of had some turnover, but overall, we're all dedicated and committed to this work. And philanthropy actually welcomed us quite nicely in this region. And we were a little surprised about that. A lot of people opened their doors and said, hey, this is what you should think about. This is what you should do. And we were quite nice, quite welcome when we came on board. And now we're able to welcome other people and train other people on board for things that we're learning and bringing to the space. So it's really interesting, this whole philanthropic space that we're in.
Amen. Amen to that. And you got a big fundraiser, 3-day gala, Trenton, from the 12th to the 14th of June. And we're really right at the edge of time. So I want you to give everybody your website so people could sign up and get out to the gala.
Please, Smith Family Foundation, www.s as in Smith, F as in family, F as in family, NJ.org.
I love that you're wrapping it up on that Sunday with prayer and celebration. God bless you for that.
Absolutely.
I think that's a beautiful thing. You thank the Maker so lovely, in such a lovely way, for all the blessings that you get and all the blessings you've helped bestow on everybody else in the state. The state of New Jersey is very lucky to have you. So again, give that website one more time.
www.sffnj.org.
Amen. The big 10th anniversary for the Smith Family Foundation of New Jersey, starting Friday, June 12th, 7 to 10 p.m., New Jersey State Museum in Trenton, and the Praise and Worship event Sunday, June 14th, 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., 471 Parkway Avenue. Catherine N. Nunnally, Master of Public Administration, Smith Family Foundation Founding Executive Director and CEO. Thank you so much for what you're doing, for coming on this morning. You bet.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. When we come back, Atlantic City prepping for what could be one of the biggest and busiest seasons in years. We'll explain in 2 minutes. Very good morning. It is Monday, May 4th, 2026. May the 4th be with you. It is 51 degrees northern New Jersey, 53 degrees in Trenton. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Mostly sunny today, highs in the mid 70s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta is back with the full Garden State forecast now with 2 babies in tow. How does that happen? No one ever explained how this happens. You were here a couple of weeks ago with 1 baby, you came back with 2, and you didn't adopt. Nobody ever explained how that works.
They never let me know either. It just all of a sudden appeared, and it's like, oh, now look at that. There's another one. They're like multiplying here. So, yep, that's it. Welcome number
Look at these
2
beauties. Look at
on
these
Earth
cuties.
Day. So Nino reading
Oh,
to Enzo is one of his favorite things to do. Just sit there and flip through books, and then when he's on page 2, done, and closes the book like he's all finished. So that's it. Very very fast reader. Yeah.
I
So
love it. I love
yep,
it.
happily enjoying his pancakes right now this morning. So we've got some great weather on the way through this afternoon. Maybe some dinner al fresco with some plenty of sunshine on the way. Some thin clouds working through southern New Jersey right now, but still keeping things mild inland, especially away from the coast where there's less of an influence from the cooler breezes off of Delaware Bay. As far as inland temperatures go, we'll hit the mid 70s today, but only feel like the 50s there on the coast. That was a snow graphic. Forgot to change that one. Not too chilly today. Notice all of the breezes out of the south and west, and that wind direction keeping things a little bit milder. However, the wind off of the water by tomorrow, especially out of the south, up to 33 miles per hour there on LBI, making it feel much colder tomorrow afternoon. At the coast. Again, inland, it'll feel lovely. But if you find yourself down toward a beach south of Atlantic City, oh, it'll be cold. Tomorrow afternoon, ocean temperature still at 48 or 49 degrees. Then by Wednesday, some of that wet weather comes in, which will finally drop these stubbornly high pollen levels for the trees and the grasses specifically, up at the very high level. So pollen season has been pretty much a doozy this year, and we'll start to see that improve as we head toward later on this week with some rain. That'll also drop our temperatures back down into just below average territory, back into the 50s by the time we get to Wednesday and Thursday. So rainfall, yeah, we have some higher rain chances by Wednesday, especially up at 90%, and then drops off for Friday, but they're still there for the weekend. It's not a washout this weekend, but there are opportunities for some rain, even as we head into the end of the week. Look at the futurecast showing clear sky around today. Beautiful weather again tomorrow. The front stays off to our west until Wednesday, and then it makes a run for us, giving us our wet weather by the end of Wednesday into Thursday. So likely some clearing Thursday afternoon, and then we get another quick round of wet weather by Friday afternoon as the system stays offshore. So improving weather, but then it kind of goes downhill with the wet conditions by Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, there's your high of 65 degrees, and Saturday and Sunday featuring a decent weekend, mostly dry, but again, there could be some wet patches by Saturday afternoon, especially in northern New Jersey. So a little bit of a cool down ahead with temperatures slightly cooler than average, taking us into Mother's Day weekend, Ken.
Mother's Day weekend. I can't believe it's here already.
So
You have anything
fast, I
special?
know.
My God, anything special planned for mom?
Keeping an eye on the forecast because we want to do outdoor brunch. You know, they say you can't take a newborn to like a crowded indoor place for fear of, well, who knows what's going on or spreading around out there. So we want to make sure everybody's happy but dry at the same time if we do a little
Amen.
bit of outdoor dining.
All right, fingers crossed, Mike. Thank you very much, sir. We'll check back with you. We have a temp of 53 degrees in Trenton right now. It is 50 in northern New Jersey. It is 49 down at Cape May, a little chillier by the water, and 52 degrees in Vineland. We check the traffic, and what do we have here? 287. Let's look at this. This is just delays reported right now from south of exit 14, which is Route 22, to north of exit 13, Route 28, Bridgewater. All lanes open, but look at the delays. Kind of ugly. So that's going to take you a little bit of time to get by. So just be aware of that. We also have some delays approaching your Hudson River crossing. So let's start, if we can, over at Route 139 coming from the New Jersey Turnpike to the Holland Tunnel. This has been a mess since we went on the air at 7 o'clock this morning. Check this out. Just multiple lanes of bumper to bumper traffic, just an absolute mess. 35 to 40 minutes across via the Holland Tunnel. Lincoln Tunnel's a little better. It's 25 to 30 getting to the Helix on 495 there. And then your approach to the GWB, upper and lower levels, 35 to 40 now, just improving slightly from what it was. You can see the upper level on the right, lower level on the left. Our time is 8:36, and federal authorities are investigating after United Airlines jet landing at Newark Liberty yesterday afternoon struck a light pole and a truck, with debris from the incident striking a Jeep on the New Jersey Turnpike. The FAA said the incident involving United Flight 169 happened about 2 p.m. Look at that. The Boeing 767 massive plane managed to land safely after flying here from Venice, but not before causing damage to the pole, the truck, the Jeep, and the plane itself. Reports say the jet was so low, like under 50 feet, so short of the runway, which it should not have been because it has guidance to prevent that from happening unless it had some kind of a downdraft, because it was windy yesterday, very windy. So that's possible. It was so short of the runway that its landing gear smashed, as you can see right there on the left. You see the guy looking at it? That's the bottom of the wheel of the landing gear, a tenth of a second before it hits his truck. That's a delivery truck, the Schmidt Baking Company truck. I guess they're going to have to get a new baking truck. Glass from the window of that vehicle injured the truck's driver. He was literally a foot from death. If that wheel was 1 foot lower, look at the wheel and his head. Think about it. The wheel flipped the truck. If the wheel was a foot lower, it would have crushed the truck and him. That man has a guardian angel sitting right next to him. You're looking at a miracle, folks. There is no way, 1 foot, there is no way he would have survived. Maybe even 6 inches. No way he would have survived. That is an amazing miracle you see right there. Just amazing. So I hope he goes out and plays lotto. By the way, the feds, the NTSB and the FAA, they have temporarily at least pulled that flight crew to find out why they were that low. They were literally, they shouldn't have been that low for another 500 feet. They didn't quite hit the threshold of the runway yet. And if you're into aviation, I'm very much into aviation. I'm not an expert, but I love aviation. I watch all the videos and stuff about it. They should not have been that low until they were literally well into the touchdown zone, what they call it the threshold. They have to pass the threshold. Then their wheels should have been that low. Now, with the modern electronics, that there is no way, unless that pilot was manually taking it in. And remember, something that is always investigated, pilot fatigue after a long, like a 9-10 hour flight. That's like an 8 to 9 hour flight from Venice to Newark. So they're going to look into pilot fatigue. They're going to look at what the pilot was doing, the pilots beforehand. But that is unbelievable that happened. All right. Well, we're going to move forward. For those of you who are not traveling from Venice, but traveling from Atlantic City, which is a very cool thing, and it's a lot closer to home, we have a man down there who runs things with the Atlantic City, let's just say convention. I call it the Convention and Visitors Bureau. It's not called that, but they are prepping for what is going to be one of the biggest and busiest seasons in years, from major entertainment partnerships and headline concerts to new restaurants, hotel upgrades, expanded airline routes, and the return of the Soar and Shore Air Show. It is a busy time in Atlantic City. Gary Musich, the president and CEO of Visit Atlantic City. I love to call it the Atlantic City Convention and Visitors Bureau. That's just because I come out of Florida. Sorry about that, but it's okay. A lot. It's a lot. And Atlantic City is awesome. My friend Anthony Wilkinson performs there in Atlantic City. He does my Big Gay Italian Wedding, which is there in one of the hotels. And he's been there for about a year and a half. And all my friends go down to Atlantic City all the time. It is still New Jersey's gem. And you got a lot going on. Talk about all the exciting things coming up.
Well, it is going to be a busy summer, and it's starting now, Ken. So you had mentioned a few events. So events are coming back to Atlantic City in a big way. It's what drives leisure tourism. Visit Atlantic City about a year ago, assumed responsibility for all branding, messaging. We were the Convention and Visitors Bureau. We'll now Visit Atlantic City. We want our name and our brand. So part of that leisure piece, we drive a lot of conventions, 1 million people a year in convention business into the city and the Atlantic City Convention Center. And we started this event process a little over a year ago, and it started with the Soar and Shore Festival. That's coming up in really 3 weeks, starting on the 29th. We expect 150,000 to 200,000 people here for that event. It drives huge economic impact. Last year, $23 million. We're expecting more this year. Events we're just coming off of. We just came off of Taste Atlantic City, which is a 30-day-long culinary experience. We had 80 restaurants involved this year. 70% of those that attended and came for that culinary experience stayed overnight. So that's what those type of events are supposed to do. I can keep going on this. In June, right, the World Cup, we have the big soccer ball getting delivered this week. We have live events on the beach. That's going to be followed by the American Powerboat Association driving a major offshore boat race. And events are going to keep going. We have Shakira performing here in July. We have Rufus Du Sol performing on the beach. Beach concerts are back in Atlantic City. So things are continuing to build, and Atlantic City really has momentum right now.
And Gary, you guys have, of course, for those who don't realize, Atlantic City is the birthplace of the boardwalk to keep the sand off the feet as people were walking into the lobbies, right, of all the hotels in Atlantic City. Saltwater taffy. I mean, Atlantic City is known for so much. It's a great place, beautiful hotels. And now you have a partnership with Live Nation. Talk about that.
So I would call it, it's relationship building. So no matter what piece of this business, we want to talk about what's going on here. We're building relationship with promoters. Live Nation is one of them. They're bringing the Shakira show. They've become a great partner. Florence and the Machine was just here last week. The show, because of the playoffs, got moved to Atlantic City, and that's what partnerships do. You work with one another, you look at what fits, what benefits each of us, what drives, in our case, tourism economic impact. It's all about that experiential travel thing. So that's why these types of events are so important to Atlantic City right now. You've had our casino properties and hotels have put over the past few years hundreds of millions of dollars in upgrades. When you look at the messaging and branding out there, it's a regional messaging and branding right now. You want to know that there's culinary experience here, and that there's gaming, that there's entertainment, that there's golf, that there's ecotourism, that there's wineries. We want people to know all of those things about the region of Atlantic City, because it extends your stay here, and it creates a better experiential travel process. And that's what people are looking for right now. So that's part of that's one peg in that big board right there, is a relationship building with promoters. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Gary, I don't mean to step on you, Gary, only because we're facing a hard commercial break right now because it's 44 minutes past. But we need to get a website because you guys have so much. And by the way, easy to travel to Atlantic City from anywhere. Philadelphia, New York, Northern New Jersey, Southern. You're right in the middle. It's perfect. What's a website for more info, Gary?
Visit AtlanticCity.com. Everything you can need there. Visit AtlanticCity.com.
I will make sure I only call it by the new name from now on. Gary Musich, President and CEO of Visit Atlantic City. Atlantic City, a gem for New Jersey. Always exciting to be there. And thank you for coming on this morning, Gary.
Thank you, Ken. Very much appreciated.
You bet. And when we come back, our friends from AARP New Jersey will join us to talk about how scammers have their eyes on us more than ever. We'll be right back. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Ken Rosato, 847, and we are taking calls at 888-658-0234. In fact, before we go to weather and traffic, let's see. Let us take the call. Hello and good morning. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings.
Good morning, Ken. This is
I
Evie.
think
How are you today?
I know who this is. This is Evie, who we normally have on to talk about compliance. Today, I'm in compliance with the date of my birth.
I know. I'm calling to wish you a very happy birthday on this beautiful Monday. You have a great day for your birthday. So I'm super excited to call in and wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you, Evie. And it was Mike's birthday on Friday.
Oh, happy birthday to Mike. Oh, nice.
We'll take all the birthday wishes we can get. Well, that's so sweet of you. And I know your daughter, I'm going to publicly congratulate your daughter, Reese, who is a cheerleader extraordinaire in all her accomplishments. And I know she competes all over the country. But you can check out the website there on your if you want to share, you could tell everybody the Instagram or Facebook page to see all the incredible shots. You don't have to. It's up to you.
Oh, yes, she is definitely very happy to be cheering in high school, although we'll see what her college is going to bring us. This is now where we are. It's, now it's almost done with high school, college mode. So we're very excited and happy and bittersweet over here for sure.
Well, amen. You've done a beautiful job, you and Gavin, with those kids. You got 3 of them, handful. Speaking of that, we should use that to segue to Mike, who now has 2 kids. Now that he has his new baby, Enzo. So he has Nino and Enzo. So Evie, I want to thank you for calling in and wishing us happy birthdays, both of us. And I love you. I love you forever. I know Evie for 20 years, and she's the best. Love to Gavin as well. Thank you, Evie.
Love you. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Take care. Evie was my neighbor, Evie and Gavin, when I first moved to New Jersey. She's a great, great lady. And she's a paralegal and then started her own company doing compliance for corporations and is doing great now.
She's one of our
And she
favorite
is
guests. Really,
she's
really,
great.
really great information every time she's on.
By the way, born in Czech and came over to the U.S. and she's just like and a U.S. citizen now, but just the greatest ever. And her mom is now a U.S. citizen and just hardworking and amazing people. So aren't you part Czech?
Half Slovak, yes. So,
Half Slovak. There we go.
before 91, it was all the same. So, yeah.
So we
Well,
had this
jak się masz?
conversation. I told you the town that her family was from.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's Evie. So good deal. Well, belated happy birthday to you too, and congratulations on the birth of your baby.
Thank you so much. We've got great weather on the way for today. Another hard-headed, hard-headed individual just like myself, Ken, with the amazing weather on the way for today. Kind of go in looking for the sun, seeing the forecast, and going, nah, we're gonna power through all of this clear sky before the rain comes at us by the middle of the week. Quite a bit of wet weather on the way. Could be upwards of an inch of rain, which is rain we need, considering our rainfall deficit still running rather high, especially in the areas of red down there in southern New Jersey, where there's up to a 2-inch rainfall deficit. And with most of the drought spreading across New Jersey as a moderate drought, it's only severe right down across the shore points and the southern counties. For today, lots of clear sky, sunny, temperatures in the low 70s, looking great. A little bit breezy by the afternoon, but the trend is wetter than average going into the middle of May, with May through the May 18th timeframe, forecasting cooler than average conditions. So this will be the trend as all of the hot weather stays well out west. Our forecast for the next few days features a big cool down. We go from the 80s tomorrow down into the 60s only by Thursday. I think Thursday afternoon clears out nicely though. And then Friday and Saturday are a pair of decent days before the weather cools even more into the weekend. A quick note about the shore points. Where that wind is blowing off of the water, it will feel like the 40s in the afternoon, so very chilly weather, and then ultimately climb back into the 60s where there's less wind by the weekend, Ken.
All right, Mike, thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you as always. Go and enjoy your new baby. What I guess Nino is having his pancakes still.
Oh, meltdown, I hear upstairs. I gotta go see what's going on. There's just been nonstop screaming since we took the phone call.
I love it. All right, go take care of the baby. We'll see you again tomorrow, sir. Thank you. Nice to have you back. Awesome. It is 8:52 right now. Just a quick check of traffic. We don't have any major crashes or anything. I'm just looking at the traffic list, and it's just a lot of delays. Right now, we have a delay on Route 21 northbound, north of exit 13, Ackerman Avenue to exit 14, which is Route 46 in Clifton. All lanes are open, but it's about a 2-mile delay, all due to volume. I-80 now, we have delays westbound from west of exit 62, Garden State Parkway, Saddlebrook Township, to east of exit 61, which is River Road in Elmwood Park. Again, all lanes open, just very slow crawl going through there. Your Hudson River crossings, if Pam can bring up 139, this is going from the Turnpike to the Holland Tunnel, and we have some problems there. You can see this has been this way all morning long. Look at the amount of traffic. That's going to cost you a solid 40 minutes into the Holland Tunnel. Lincoln Tunnel is a lot better. It's only, usually it's the opposite. Lincoln today is only 25 minutes into Manhattan, and the GWB upper and lower levels right now, slow but moving. It's a good 35 to 40 minutes in. We'll switch over and we'll show you the 80-95 approach, the 80-95 approach to the GWB, I should say. Upper level is going to be on the right side of your screen, lower level on the left. And you can see just a little sun glare slowing things down. That's going to be, like I said, 35 to 40 minutes into Manhattan from that point. And we're going to resume with A block if we could. A Delta passenger is in hot water after she was arrested for not ending a cell phone call as her flight was about to take off. Now, how many times have we been told when you are on board a plane, there is no democracy? All right. The crew is 100. You surrender your rights to the crew. That's the flight attendant. That's the pilot. All right. So everybody was waiting to take off. Delta, like many of the airlines, has a policy when you are about to take off, because there is the potential that a cell signal can interfere with the guidance of the plane. And the most essential times are takeoff and landing. They tell you to turn off your cell phone then, because even though the chances are 99% it won't interfere, why should you risk why should you have the right to risk the lives of all those passengers because of that? Well, the person you see on your screen there, according to officials, became belligerent. That is Shannon Marie Harris of Tyrone, Georgia. And I wasn't there, so I can't say that this happened. This is Delta officials. She was repeatedly asked to end her cell phone call. She refused, became belligerent, continued talking. The pilot ordered the plane to deplane, and then 12 officers arrested her. So likely she will be told that she can never again be on a Delta plane. So was it worth it because you wouldn't hang up your cell phone? Does that make any sense? I don't understand. You can give us a call and let us know if that ever happened to you, but I just don't understand. All right. It is 8:55, and now let us welcome our friends from AARP New Jersey. All right. So we know that scammers are becoming more sophisticated every year, targeting people through phone calls, text messages, emails, social media, even artificial intelligence. Communities here in New Jersey are working to educate residents to recognize scams and protect themselves from becoming victims. Joining us now is Councilwoman Louise Scott Roundtree of the Newark City Council and an AARP advocacy volunteer to discuss fraud prevention efforts and the importance of staying informed. Councilwoman, good morning. Good to have you on.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Ken. It is an honor and a pleasure to be on with Ken this morning, AARP of New Jersey. Ken Rosato, you've been doing such a marvelous job with information regarding so many areas, but AARP is doing a magnificent job. I became acquainted with them, and anything that I can do to move forward. As you can see, I'm in my office already this morning because I wanted to be in my space where I created a resolution regarding Fraud Prevention Month.
That's awesome. And I've been a member of AARP for a dozen years. I talk about it all the time, way before having this on-air relationship with them. I love my whole family are AARP members. And there are scams now more than ever impacting local communities and families here in New Jersey. So talk about some of those scams and how we're trying to educate folks through AARP New Jersey to beware of them.
So AARP has done, as a matter of fact, recently had an event at Cityplex in the city of Newark, major event. Senators, mayors, all of many legislators have come together to advocate and educate individuals on fraud. I am a victim of a scam. So I firsthand know, and I'm the most cynical person. Like, you can't even get like the month I was born in over the telephone, let alone any other information. But I've had individuals that were scammed by, I should say, fraudulent PSEG representatives, credit card representatives. There's mail fraud, there's wire fraud. And in these days, you can't even say yes on the telephone because they will record your voice and say that you agreed to something. So yes, we are doing everything in our power here in the city of Newark for sure, because we have a large senior citizen population. So I will be working with Zoila, who I am so honored that this young lady has been reaching out to me. All of what they do, AARP does for the community. This is just the least that we can do, and the most for our residents, to let them know that they need to beware of the Americans who lose billions of dollars each year to fraud, which older adults disproportionately are affected. And making prevention, education, and strong consumer protections more important than ever is important to us here in the city of Newark.
Amen. And listen, I'm 58. Actually, no, today I'm 59. Look at that, Councilwoman. I'm
Oh, well, happy
trying to go
already
back.
blessed birthday.
God bless you and thank you. I appreciate
Yes.
that. But yeah, I clicked on something over the weekend that I shouldn't have too, and I had to have my computer dealt with. So it happens to all of us. It does, and no one should be embarrassed. Just get help if it happens. The website for more information: aarp.org/NJ. Newark City Council member and AARP advocacy volunteer Louise Scott Roundtree. You're an amazing lady. Thank you so much for coming on this morning, and thank you for doing what you're doing. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You bet. And it's going to be sunny today, highs low to mid 70s. That's on New Jersey Mornings for your Monday, May 4th, 2026. May the 4th be with you. I'm Ken Rosato. We'll see you again tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7 a.m.